Hello, hello. Hello, happy Friday. Happy Fun Day Friday. Happy Fun Day Friday. How y'all doing today? How are y'all doing on this Friday? Are y'all happy on this Friday? Most people are happy on Fridays because it's the weekend, especially at this time if you're off. So, welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is day 20. On my 30-day challenge. Wow. 10 more days. Oh, I'm almost starting to feel sad just thinking about only 10 more days. But if you don't know me, my name is Tiffany Newton. I'm a master certified health and life coach. And I have been in the mental health space for the past couple of years. And I have recently been got involved in the co-parenting space and just mixing the mental health with the co-parenting because my focus, my goal is for the best interest of the child and for us to raise emotionally healthy children. I help co-parents establish and maintain healthy relationships with one another so they can raise emotionally healthy children without experiencing long-term communication issues. Because as we've learned throughout this live is that 80 something percent of marriages, or I should say, well, yeah, I guess I can say marriages end due to lack of communication. That was the root cause of all the issues that they've had. So we've been talking about using the child first method, over the last couple of weeks, and we talked about communication. We've talked about honoring the other parent's role. We've talked about involvement with the child, and we had a dynamic guest yesterday from he's a mediator and family custody strategist. So if you did not catch that live on yesterday, you got to go look at the replay because it was rich with information and also given the perspective from a father's perspective as well in regards to what he's dealing with in his co-parenting role as well as seeing what he's seeing professionally. So please check that out and all the other lives that I've done as well. And I'm just excited for today because we're still talking about our vault. Our vault is the child first method, and everything that's in our vault, or I should say, everything that we've been talking about is combinations to our vault, things that can help us access healthy co parenting relationships, things that can help us access focusing on the best interests of our child so they can be an emotionally healthy child. So, so today we're going to talk about, who wants to be a single parent. When you go into a relationship, you don't necessarily, especially a marriage, you don't think about, okay, when I have kids, I'm gonna be a single parent. You don't think about that. And when you're divorced, of course, there's a whole nother dynamic, to it. And I have experienced it all. I've experienced what it's like to be a single parent with no help at all, apart from my parents and other support. But as far as from a parental standpoint, um, and I've also been divorced with a child that wasn't his, and I've also been divorced with children, my boys, who I co-parent with my ex. So, and I've also been a part of a blended family. I forgot about that. I've been a part of a blended family. So I have a lot of experience as it relates to parenting, as it relates to being parented. I think all of us have that experience of being parented. And um, I I just love how God does things because he uses our experiences if we allow him to use them for his glory. So as we have overcome things, as we have grown in certain areas of our lives, it's meant to be shared. So this is the purpose of this challenge. Um, Even though it was initiated by uh, an accelerated program that I'm in, it was really God that has done this because it really has helped me to hone in on co-parenting. And as a reminder, everything that I share with you is going to be child focused. Everything that I do is going to be child focused and it's going to be in the best interest of the child. So everything that I discuss is going to encompass that. So I just want to give you that reminder. And remember, the day before yesterday when we talked about child involvement with the child, I wanted you to keep in mind three words: listen, share, and consider. Listen, share, and consider. And as I talk, I want you to think about those words today too, because who wants to be a single parent? I know I didn't want to be a single parent. I still don't want to be a single parent because I know what it's like to be a single parent. So, listen to the other parents' opinions and thoughts. This is just a brief summary. Share information regularly regarding the child and share the load of parenthood because you don't have to be a single parent. And consider our child's best interest. So listen, share, and consider. And you might say, you know what, Tiffany? I got my parents, I got my friends that can help me, I got my village that can help me raise my child. So I don't, I might be a single parent, the dad might not be there, but I don't need him. I understand. I've said that too. But I would also say, because I've grown and I'm a lot, thank you so much for joining. And I can also say that because I've grown and I'm in more in a healthy place. Because remember, health and healing is a journey. It's something that we're going to do for a lifetime because we live in these human bodies. I would tell you, if the father of your children want to be there, allow him to be there. Allow him to share that load with you because parenting isn't meant to be done alone, especially when you have a parent that's willing to be there. So, so let's avoid being a single parent while we're co-parenting. You know, I think these terms come up and things come up and we adapt to them. Remember, I was talking about us being programmed all of our lives, to adapt to certain things. And just because that's something that we've been used to, that doesn't mean it has to be. So, avoiding being a single parent while you're co parenting, it involves actively participating. Thank you for joining in collaborating with the other parent and sharing responsibilities and making joint decisions for the child. And it's something that you're doing together. And I want you to think about these things. I know I've mentioned some of these things before, but I want you to think about them. I want you to think about when you need to listen, share, and consider these things. So, of course, I'm going to always mention open communication. That's always going to be first. And these are things that you can do to avoid being a single parent because who wants to be a single parent? – um, shared decision making. Create a parenting plan. Acting as a team. Remember, I was talking about one team, one family? And doesn't your child deserve that? Does your child deserve that? Yes. We want the best for our kids. We want better for our kids than what we had. Our parents, whether we grew up in a single parent home or a two-parent home, you know, our parents did the best that they could do with us. So we need to do the best that we can do for our children. We need to do better. Each generation has to be better. And just imagine the generational curses, the generational traumas that you can release just by doing these things. Um, Respecting each other's time. We talked about that. Sharing the load. Just because you're not in the same house doesn't mean you don't have to share the load. Especially, I mean, I have two boys who are involved in activities. If you all have kids, as they get older, they're gonna be involved in activities, whether it's piano lessons, violin lessons, choir, football, any kind of sports. My son's involved in taekwondo. You know, just because you have that child at that time, do you really have to take it all on? Do you really? Or is that something you've chosen to do? Is it a control thing? You know, I want you to consider, think about it. Um, and being present for milestones in the child's life. Encourage bonding time with the child. Resolving conflict. We talked about conflict resolution, dealing with a difficult spouse or difficult ex. And then being flexible. When you make that parenting plan, we talked about that. You have to be flexible, especially when the parent wants to be there, when the parent wants to be involved. All right, this is our journey to healthy. This is our journey on this healthy path, and we want to raise emotionally healthy children. And it's a new way of co-parenting, a new way of co-parenting. I want to hone in on today, and I'm not going to be long. I want to hone in on parenting styles. I've mentioned parenting styles in the past, but I don't want to take for granted that everyone knows what parenting styles are. So, when we engage in conversations about parenting styles, we need to ensure that both parents are on the same page in terms of discipline and guidance for our child, because they are going to be at our homes at different times. So we want to make sure we're on the same page. So we were all raised differently, and we had different experiences growing up. And those experiences, they manifest as well as in those co-parenting styles that I'm talking about. And those parenting styles, they refer to our overall approach and method that we use to raising and interacting with our child. It's the same thing with our parents. How we were raised, it was based upon a particular parenting style or more than one parenting style. Please excuse my dog in the background. No one else is here to keep him entertained. So he's something else. But of course, no one is perfect. No parent is perfect. But, this is to bring self-awareness. This is to bring awareness to where you are. And in order for us to know where we are, we have to have information. And we also want to know where, the other parent is and how it overall affects our child. So I want to show you 4 common parenting styles. And in these parenting styles, first one is authoritative parenting. As you can see, that person says, let's talk about it. And I think I find more parents in this generation saying that because most of our parents did not. These parents are warm, nurturing, responsive to their kids. They set clear boundaries and expectations, but also encourage independence and autonomy. It also involves open communication and allows for negotiation and explanations when enforcing rules. Remember, there's still boundaries. Because I know some of y'all are like, hold up now, ain't no negotiating. If whatever what I say go, I understand. But we're talking about boundaries as well, clear boundaries. And it also provides guidance and support while fostering self discipline and self esteem in our children. So, to me, that is the goal that we want to reach for. I should say that is our standard of what a healthy parent should look like. Now, the second one I want to talk about is authoritarian parenting. And this person is strict and demanding. They prioritize obedience and discipline, often using punitive measures for rule enforcement. I'm sorry, punitive measures for rule enforcement. Now, they have high expectations and they may not be as responsive to their children's emotional needs, but they emphasize compliance and control and may not encourage open communication or negotiation. So, as you can see on the chart, and you can look at the arrows and how those different aspects and descriptions of those different parenting styles, where they fall in as well. The third one we'll talk about is permissive. And now this parent is lenient, they're indulgent towards their children. They avoid setting strict rules and may have difficulty enforcing boundaries. They prioritize their children's happiness and may give in to their desires just to avoid conflict. Now, while they often are warm and nurturing, as you can see on the chart, and those who do not see the chart on Instagram, I will post this for you to see in the comments. But they struggle to provide the necessary structure and discipline for healthy child development. Now, as I go through these, before I go to the last one, I don't want you to beat yourself up if you do hear yourself in any of these. Because just like I said, no parent is perfect. We do the best we know how to do based upon our life experiences, our beliefs, our programming. So we have to give ourselves grace. And guess what? It's never too late. You can say, you know what, my kids are grown. It's okay. It's okay. It's never too late. I mean, I still have my parents with me. I'm grown to a certain degree. I mean, yes, they're not parenting me, so to say, but they are in so many ways. We still have a relationship. And as the kids get older, these parenting styles will change as well. And depending on what child it is. So the last one I want to talk about is the uninvolved parent or the neglectful parent. Now, this parent, they're disengaged. They offer minimum emotional support or guidance for their child. They may be neglectful, focusing on their own needs or interests rather than their child's well-being. Now, this style, it lacks structure and responsiveness and involvement in the child's life, which can lead to adverse effects on the child's emotional and social development. Now, I'll say again, give yourself grace. If you find yourself in any of these, it's okay. It's about awareness. You know, okay, I've pinpointed myself. Where do I go from here? How can I become a better parent? Because my best interest, or I should say, my um, goal is the best interest of my child. And I want my child to be raised emotionally healthy, or I want them to be emotionally healthy. So it's important to note that, these parenting styles, they're not fixed or absolute. And many parents adopt a combination of styles, which I mentioned earlier, depending on, different factors and depending on the age of the child. I remember when I was married, I was, more of a authoritarian parent. Um, but as I've on this side post divorce, I become more of authoritative, you know, and sometimes I'm a little permissive, just because that's just how it's been. But I've given myself grace, and and why and so which parenting style do you think tends to be the most effective? Since I've gone through all of these, it's the authoritative. Why all of a sudden I can't say that word. So it balances warmth and guidance and discipline. And it provides your child with a nurturing and structured environment for healthy development. And that is our goal. That's what we want. So I'm also going to post this in the comments on Facebook and YouTube as well. So you can go back to it and look at it. And then everyone on the replay as well. Um, so you can see that. So I hope you all have gotten something out of this, that you were encouraged, because you have identified yourself. You've identified, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. That's always good. And you've also identified yourself to where you're like, okay, I have some areas of improvement to make. And hopefully you have also seen the other parent, and how I can, um, just have that knowledge, have that empathy, because I remember I talked about that as well, having that empathy. But our main focus is one team, one family. That is our focus. And our focus is the child. That's why we are one team and one family. So hopefully you have enjoyed today's live. I've enjoyed you. And please feel free, drop some butterflies if you've gotten something out of it. I love butterflies. And if you do not follow me on Instagram on I am Tiffany D. Newton. I'm on Facebook at Tiffany D. Newton. And also you can follow the tribe. Check out the Teach Me Tribe. It's a dynamic group of men and women. We're just having real conversations, non-judgmental, safe space to be in. And also follow us on Teach Me Tribe on YouTube. You can find all of these lives there as well, and the other things that we've been doing throughout the time that we have, the events we have in the Teach Me Tribe. So definitely check us out. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a special day because I won't be here at my regular time. I'm going to be here at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I'll be on with a guest. So that's going to be very, very good, very good. We're going to be talking about mother-daughter relationships and co-parenting relationships. And we just want to be good parents. And we are here to provide you with those tools to do that. So I love you. Thank you again for joining, and I will see you on tomorrow. Bye bye.